Good afternoon, children. For last three turns, we are reading a detective fiction Evans tries an O level, in which Evans, a kleptomaniac, expressed the desire of academic qualification. He wanted to clear O level German examination. Governor knows that Evans might escape because he has already escaped thrice from the prison. Still, he gives him an opportunity. He makes all the kinds of arrangements. He talks to the secretary of the board. He arranges tuition classes for him. Then he does maximum security establishments, appoints Mr. Jackson and Mr. Stephens to look that all the things go on properly in Ivan's cell. Then Mr. Jackson takes out on the instruction of governor all the things from the cell of Ivan's that could help him to hurt anybody or escape. Then the governor also bugs Evans in the cell by putting a recording instrument. So let's see what happens after the invigilator, Mr. McCleary enters, Parson McCleary enters into the prison house. We are reading on page number 76. It was 9:10 a.m. when the governor switched on the receiver. He had instructed Jackson to tell Evans of the temporary little precaution that was only fair, as if Evans wouldn't spot it. So here the reference is made to the recording instrument. So governor told Jackson to tell Evans that for him there is a recording instrument kept in the cell, so anything that would be talked about in the cell of Evans would be heard by the governor. So Jackson was thinking that Evans was not such a foolish person that he wouldn't spot it. He had already seen that. So that we have already read on the last page. But wasn't it all a bit theatrical, schoolboyish almost? So everything as if was overdone. It was as if a play or a drama was going on. The arrangements were made as if a schoolboy was writing the examination. How on earth was Evans going to try anything on today? If he was so anxious to make another break, why in the heaven's name hadn't he tried it from the recreational block? So governor was thinking that if Evans wanted to escape, he would have easily gone from the recreational block. Why would he wait till now? Much easier. It was much easier because he was the only person taking the tuitions and studying there. But he hadn't, and there he was now, sitting in a locked cell. All the prison officers on the alert. Two more locked doors between his cell and a yard with a wall as high as a haystack. Yes, Evans was as safe as houses. So there were so many locked doors. There were three locked doors, particularly between Ivan's cell door and the main gate. And the walls were also very high. So, how could it be possible that Evans was to escape today? And with so much maximum security. Anyway, it wouldn't be any trouble at all to have the receiver turned on for the next couple of hours or so. So, governor thought that it would be better that he turns on the receiver of the recording instrument, and it would not matter if for 2 hours he heard whatever was being said, and there would be nothing. Here further it is written, it wasn't as if there was going to anything to listen to, was it? So there was nothing to listen also, because as we have discussed this thing earlier also, that a parson has nothing to do with a criminal. So Evans will not be talking to the parson, or parson will not be helping out to Evans. Amongst other things, an invigilator's duty was to ensure that the strictest silence was observed. But still, that little nagging doubt, might Evans try to take advantage of McCleary, get him to smuggle in a chisel or two, or a rope or a ladder, or so it might be possible that Evans ask McCleary, influences McCleary in any way, or his friends influence McCleary in any way, and Evans gets some help from McCleary to escape. So it might be possible that McCleary, while coming into the prison, brings a chisel or a tool or a knife or a rope ladder or anything like that. The governor sat up sharply. It was all very well getting rid of any potential weapon that Evans could have used. But what about McCleary? So they had already seen to it, Mr. Jackson had seen to it, that nothing was there in Evans' cell that could help Evans to escape. But what about McCleary? What if, quite unwittingly by mistake, the innocent McCleary had brought in something himself? A jackknife, perhaps? And what if Evans held him hostage with such a weapon? So, if Evans takes from McCleary anything like that, a big knife is brought, a jackknife is brought by McCleary by mistake, and Evans taken to rescue that jackknife, and then he take advantage and use McCleary to move out of the prison. The governor reached for the phone. It was 9:12 a.m. The examinee and the invigilator had already been introduced by Stephens when Jackson came back and shouted to McCleary through the cell door, "Can you come outside a minute, sir? You too, Stephens?" Jackson quickly explained the governor's worries, and McCleary patiently held out his arm at shoulder level whilst Jackson lightly frisked his clothes. So, children, as the governor was worried, he asked Mr. Jackson to find out, to do frisking of McCleary, so that if anything was there in or with McCleary that could be against them. Something hard here. When Jackson was trying to frisk the clothes of McCleary, he found something hard. "Sir, my reading glasses," replied McCleary, looking down at the spectacle case. So McCleary was having two spectacles, he says, and one was the one that he was wearing, and the other was, he says, that reading glasses were there with him. Jackson quickly reassured him, and bending down on the landing, thumb flicked the catches on the suitcase. So Jackson saw that there was a suitcase with McCleary in the place close to McCleary. So he just wanted to see if there was anything inside the suitcase that could be a great help to Evans. He picked up each envelope in turn, carefully passed his palms along their surfaces, and seemed satisfied. He riffled cursorily through a few pages of Holy Writ and vaguely shook the church times. So, children, each and everything that was in the suitcase, Jackson was trying to find out if that could be a help to Evans. So, he was moving the pages of the Holy Writ cursorily, riffling the pages cursorily, then vaguely shaking the church times that was there. All right, so far. But one of the objects in McCleary's suitcase was puzzling him sorely, intently. "Do you mind telling me why you have brought this, sir?" He held up a smallish, semi-inflated rubber ring, such as a young child with a waist of about 12 inches might have struggled into. "You thinking of going for a swim, sir?" McCleary's hitherto amiable demeanor was slightly ruffled by his tasteless little pleasantry. Now, children, you have to underline this line, very, very important. So, here, point to be noted is that we have read about the things that were present in the suitcase before also when McCleary came out of the Broad Street flat. But now, there is something else also in the suitcase that we have not read before, and that puzzles Mr. Jackson. Mr. Jackson finds out that there is a rubber ring, semi-inflated rubber ring, and if a child of 12 inches waist could wear that rubber ring, he will be able to swim. So he makes, like in an amusing manner, he says that McCleary would like to go to swim. That is why he has brought a rubber ring with him. Now, McCleary hitherto means till now. Amiable means friendly. Demeanor means attitude. Till now, McCleary was behaving in a friendly manner, in a friendly attitude. Suddenly, when Mr. Jackson spoke like this, tasteless little pleasantry here is like he just made a joke. He cracked a joke as if, and he answered Jackson somewhat sorely. So, in a very unpleasant manner, rude manner, McCleary said, "If you must know, I suffer from hemorrhoids, and when I am sitting down for any length of time," so McCleary said that he was suffering from hemorrhoids, that is disease of piles, and therefore he could not sit for a long time. So he has brought this rubber ring. "Very sorry, sir. I didn't mean to," means I did not want to embarrass you. This was the reply of Mr. Jackson. The embarrassment was still reddening Jackson's cheeks when he found the paper knife at the bottom of the case. "I think I would better keep this, though," means it is of no use, still I'll keep the paper knife with me. "If you don't mind, that is, sir." It was 9:18 a.m. Now, another important point here to be noted is that the examination was to begin at 9:15 and it was already late. It was 9:18 now. Before the governor heard their voices again, and it was clear that the examination was going to be more than a little late in getting underway. McCleary says, "You have got a watch?" Evans says, "Yes, sir." McCleary says, "I will be telling you when to start and again when you have 5 minutes left. All right?" Silence. Evans doesn't reply. He just listens that he has to begin when he is instructed to do so. McCleary says, "There's a plenty more of this writing paper should you need it. So supplementary if Evans needs, then that is also available." Silence. McCleary says, "Now write the name of the paper 0211 in the top left hand corner." Silence. Now you remember the number, children. So that will be why it is important, that will come to know later on in the story. McCleary then says, "In the top right hand corner, write your index number 313 and in the box just below that, write your center number 271. Alright, so as McCleary instructs, Evans follows.